Hey everyone, it's Andres, and welcome to another episode of the program. This is a pre-recorded stream because unfortunately yours truly is under the weather. If you are not familiar with what's been going on over the past month, while some of you might have seen some episodes drop, I have actually been very, very busy and have not been able to be in production for any new content. So that's been something behind the scenes that if you on Rumble, you might have seen me do a lot of what are called study streams. And that was like, I don't know, 24 streams adding to like 34, 35 hours. That's because I was studying for my online courses to renew my broker's license. Um, and I was active in the chat so I could, be held accountable to stay awake because I was studying very, very late at night. That's why I call them late night study streams. Sometimes I would start streaming around midnight. Some of these went on to like 2:30 in the morning, depending on the day and how busy I was and things like that. So after about a month, that took a toll on me. And unfortunately, even though I did come down to the wire, I did pass all my exams. I submitted the certificates to the Department of Real Estate of the state, and I did get the renewal. And just yesterday, I got no, 2 days ago, I received notifications from the Department of Real Estate that my renewal has gone in. Everything's fine. There will be no lapse in my coverage or my activity on my license, so I'm good. It's just that it just takes a toll on the body. So unfortunately, yours truly got sick. So that's why I can't do this one live, because I'm definitely going to miss the cough button a lot. And I wanted to take some time because it's been overdue. A lot of people have been messaging me, particularly on YouTube. So I wanted to devote some streams to answer your comments and questions, or read your comments, answer your questions wherever I can. And I noticed that there's just about as many unplugged phone questions because after my long-term review, I did a Q&A, and there's been more ever since, people discovering it. One of my clips taking off on X, getting like 65,000 views because Unplugged, Eric Prince, and others were reposting this. So it drew a lot of attention. So unfortunately, I cannot get to just those comments on X because X is just horrible at how you can curate comments. You can't really. It's annoying. If you're not verified, I don't get your notification. And if you are verified, depending on what tier of verification you are or payment plan that you have, it'll boost your response wherever. It's so annoying because when you have turned on notifications for different people that you follow and those cascade in, they bury out basically everything else. So it's been a little annoying to try to get to things, and sometimes just trying to look for the previous posts is just it's daunting in of it itself. There's talks about possibly X making its own search engine. That's way overdue. And this whole thing, stop using hashtags. Like, okay, stop using hashtags, but at least improve your search functions, man. It just sucks. So that's one thing. So I'm mostly going to be going over YouTube comments and questions. So I hope that those of you on X that had maybe similar questions will find your answers here. And what else? Well, I guess just this whole thing. Oh, actually, you guys know that I don't have any sponsors to my show. I only have affiliates, and whatever affiliate I have are products that I use. So I've used some products for some time before I ever consider becoming an affiliate with them, unless I'm madly fall head over heels with them. Then, of course, I'm like, dude, can we make this work? So that's a very rare instance. But I had the opportunity to apply as an affiliate, or what is called the DMO field operator, with DMO knives. DMO stands for Dead Moose Operators. So over my shoulder here is the TIG. I actually did an unboxing video of this knife some time ago, and I had brought it to the studio because I was gonna have a certain themed podcast that I was do something different, something better. But hopefully we'll revisit that some other time. But the thing is, now that DMO is one of my affiliates, I can probably tell you that you can use promo code Segovia, save 10% off your order when you go to dmoknives.com. So this is the TIG. This is a 13 hours knife done in collaboration with John Tigan. And I'm going to keep it in a sheath because he's super sharp. But it's a gorgeous, heavy steel knife. Just single fixed blades. And it's high quality American steel made by American small business. Absolutely love this stick. And while I intend to take this camping, I would be apprehensive to use it just because of it. It's a really nice knife, but it's not meant to be a set piece. So I will eventually use it when I go camping. You go to dmoknives.com, check out their stuff. Let me pull it up right here for all of you to see. There it is. These are some of the past drops that they had. They did one with the Hodge twins. They did one with Alex Jones too. I didn't know about that. But it's these are really nice things. And these most of the past drops are sold out. So these are limited quantity. If you like what you see, definitely get it. American made, American small business too, and very patriotic, or right up people's alley. So go to dmoknives.com, use promo code Segovia, save 10% on your order. Some exclusions may apply. They actually have a recently launched, for those of you that are fans of Jason Voorhees, the actor himself came. They just did a collab with him. So, you guys could check that one out. So for those of you that are big fans, I actually tagged a couple of people over at the well, one of them, Black Rifle Coffee, that I don't know, just like, Heather, this kind of appeals. I think it appeals to you. I don't know why the first one I thought of when I saw that was Heather. So Heather Lynn, she's a writer for Black Rifle Coffee magazine. Anyway, enough of that. Let's segue into some of the topics that I wanted to touch on when it comes to tech. I actually have two. So one of the things that I used when I was doing my live streaming and trying to create some thumbnails was a lot of AI in generating thumbnails, but mostly pictures so I could apply to my thumbnails because I have an aesthetic look that I've been trying to keep, but it's the pictures that sometimes I have a hard time putting together. So I have been very impressed. I've been using Grok mainly, followed by Gab AI and Gemini. So all three of them, and I would say that they're all about on par. But if I had to pick which one I use the most, probably is Grok. But I like the aesthetic that Gab AI was giving me. So it's to each their own, and I've been trying to develop this episode in speaking about the pros and cons of AI, because I know there's pros and cons to it. But I've had more of the warnings about AI than I have had about the positives about AI. So hopefully that will materialize in the near future. Speaking of near future, Rumble, the caps up here. I was a partner with them on the creators program last year. They turned me down this year, and I have an idea why. They didn't really specify why. They're very vague. I announced this on my socials. Um, I did a lot of live streaming for my studies. I didn't intend to use that as a form to apply, but because the dashboard kept saying, hey, you met all the criteria, so I figured, what does it hurt? So if they judged my show mainly on those live streams, because those weren't the only episodes I put up, by the way. I still had interviews that went up, other clips here and there. But if they judged me solely on the live streams, then of course they were not going to like that. By the way, I'm so grateful this isn't live because I've had to edit out a lot. A lot of the reason why I can't do this live. But I did want to say it's something that because though Rumble didn't pick me up, not this time. This I could reapply on April 7th. I'm like, April 7th, you'll be judging the very streams that I just did, and you're gonna say no anyway. So if I want to do this, I'll have to reapply at the end of April. And as I look at the end of April and just how many hours they're asking me to live stream, I'm like, well, I am working on a different direction for the show in a way to get information out there more quickly to you and do a different approach than any other tech reviewer's ever done. And that's live tech reviews and interactive with the audience. Because, yeah, there's generalized stuff, but then there's comments and questions for this and that. And you have to wait until you get around to it to be able to respond. So that's an idea that I'm developing. That's just one of a few things that I wanted to do because this show is business and tech centered. And of course, interviews. But business and tech. So 2 different streams. One devoted to business, real estate issues, things affecting all that stuff, whether it's at the local, state, or national level. And then, of course, tech stuff, whether it's tech talk or actual tech streams where I'm touching on these devices. I have a bunch of ideas that I haven't been able to do because I've either had to make time for this or make time for that. And I wanted to find a way to make this all work. That's why I want things to work out with Rumble, where it's like, hey, you guys are the home for live streaming, And it'd be awesome if I can get into the program so you guys could actively promote my show. Something very different than what's being done on the platform. But at the same time, on YouTube, where unless you have the notifications on, you probably won't see my stream. That's where I need you guys' help to make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss out when I go live, so I can get that interaction from you guys too. Because all of you see some of my stuff after the fact that I go live, and then the questions will come in. Then I got to revisit this a little later. And by that point, I hope that I haven't forgotten to get back to it. So I missed out on a few comments and questions, which is why I'm devoting the stream. It's been a long time coming. I'm sorry. It's been like a month's worth of comments. Some that I responded to, some that I haven't because I missed them entirely. And so I want to make up for all that. So I wanted to find a way to make this happen. And to do that is really changing the direction of the show, and where I am not filming things anymore per se if I do them live. So I'm filming them live with you, warts and all. I'm doing this with you. So I have reviews that I'm working on, which especially the Pixel Watch 3, the Pixel 9 Pro long-term edition, because it's been out for a while. What has changed since it came out, with all these pixel drops, has it really improved? There are issues that I had to figure out how to solve myself, which is pathetic that it's still around these many months later. So those are the kind of things that I want to be able to go over with you live. So if you're watching this and you will like this direction, or you don't, by all means, chime in the comments down below, wherever you're watching it, whether you're watching on YouTube, X, Rumble, Gangjin, wherever it is that you're watching. I am looking at those comments, and I'm trying to bring something different with my know-how for all of you to also make it work where I can focus on my own health too, because it's pointless for me to try to do this, which doesn't pay, by the way, to do this that is a hobby and sacrifice my health in that sense, but I won't be able to do this anymore. So that's what it all comes down to, folks. Help me help you. I want to know if this is something I can make work. And if I can make that work, then definitely I want the Rumble support. If I can't make that work with Rumble, then it's just going to be filming and uploading later. And the place that's really doing the best for me is Play TV. But I don't want to fragment my show that way, especially with YouTube not being a free speech place, with this whole copyright thing continuing too. It's ridiculous. Either censored for this or copyright claim here on that. And one that I've won, and I'm in dispute in a bunch of other ones, and they keep hitting me with the same damn thing. I'm like, dude, I just won the first one. We're disputing the very thing I just won. You guys are flagging my theme song. It's every single episode. So it's annoying. YouTube wanted me to partner with them only for them to not monetize a lot of my content. Like, what the hell was the point? So anyway, that's what's been going on a lot in the background, a lot of the stuff, trying to play catch up here. And well, I guess now it's just a better time as any to just get over and onward to your comments. Great. Did I lose a spot? No, I don't think I did. Oh yeah, just gonna be some eye strain here, because it's small text. But all right, so this is the comments are from the community over on YouTube. I'm sorry, those of you on X. So I do hope that someone had asked the same question that you have asked before. There is a comment though. There was in a post on X. I'm trying to remember what the question was though. It was pretty recent. Yikes! I responded to it too. Might be able to find it in my replies. Let me look real quick. And through the power of editing, this is going to be a lot shorter. All right, so the good news is I did find it. And here I am sharing this. User SOD8632. I think they meant to say, I'm loving this new unplugged phone. I was wondering, is there an app store iOS on F-Droid that's like Aurora Play Store? I gave Aurora, I think it meant to say I have Aurora. Just wondering if there's an iOS version. And also, how can I add my entire iCloud to this device? Is there an iCloud app? To which I responded, do you mean iCloud as in your storage for accessing documents and such? Okay, so let me, I have to address this one because I know for a fact that this is one of the biggest questions that iOS users have. Apple wants you to stay with Apple. Okay, so while there is such thing as an iCloud service for, say, your Windows computer, and to some extent on Android, a lot of the services are stuck on Apple. So if you mean like access your iCloud storage, something that you would do that with a Dropbox or a OneDrive, I'm sure there's a third-party app that can probably do that. But if you mean to be able to access all your storage like it's built into your device like an Apple product is, I'm sorry, that's probably not something that exists here, because there are no Apple apps per se outside of Apple. Yeah, there's Apple Music. I think there's a you can set up your iCloud email, but that's pretty much it. So I don't think I could help you beyond that. But that doesn't mean I won't look. I'll see what other solutions there might be because this applies for any Google device, and for most part, almost any Android device. So yeah, I don't know. There is no first party app from Apple, that's for sure, that will work on this phone. But maybe there's something. And if anybody in the chat knows, they could drop it in, and now pick this up and signal blast it. All right, let's get to the community here on YouTube. I had intended on doing a couple of streams, one devoted to the Unplugged phone stuff, and the other one for the Brax3 device stuff, because I got probably an even amount of questions about both devices, especially after I dropped my long-term review, and especially because people assumed that they would have the Brax3 device in their hands right now. And unfortunately, that's not the case because the Brax3 device is delayed. So I am pulling up the Indiegogo. I did not have that at the ready, so let me pull it up real quick to get to the latest updates that they might have here, because they should have some kind of update. Let me see, scrolling, so I could pull that up when I get to it. All right, there's the timeline, and I'll explain to you what I do know about the Brax3 device as I get to it. Yeah, and there's a lot of edits, by the way. That's because I don't hit the mute. I don't get to the mute button fast enough. I'm sorry, but that's why I couldn't do this live. But hopefully, the next week I will be able to do this live and respond to you in real time. All right, but let me start off with this. I don't know if I might have answered this one, but this is where I'll begin from. This is from the long-term review of the Unplugged phone. This from Caleb Simalian. I love it. I just use YouTube and basic phone functions. I can even download Snapchat and use it, which is awesome considering how it will give you notifications saying how it won't work and needs Google Play, but it does. No more ads relating to something I just talked about 5 minutes before. No more weird corporation BS. Fantastic. I'm glad that's working out for you. So that's from the long-term review. This is from my original review with the Unplugged phone. This is from Susie Hartright. Thank you for making this video. How did you download the Amazon App Store on Unplugged phone? I couldn't find it on the Aurora app or F-Droid. I downloaded an app on Aurora, and when I tried to open it, it says something went wrong. Check the Google Play is enabled on your device, and that you're using an up-to-date version before opening the app. If the problem persists, try reinstalling the app. At this point, I wish I could just fully make this Unplugged phone a fully functioning Android phone because I can't use it like I would other phones. I have basically wasted $1,000. Is it possible to erase their operating system and put a regular Android operating system on it instead? Thanks again. Oh man, this is a loaded question. Okay, so let me try to address this a thing at a time. So the Amazon App Store is no longer available. Well, it's not going to be available any longer as of August 2025. So what that means is you can still technically get it. You can download apps, but just like some applications need Google Play services, some applications from the Amazon App Store need Amazon App Store. Once the Amazon App Store services are shut down for Android users, those apps will no longer work. So this is, in a way, saying that there's no more Amazon. So that's unfortunate. So right now, your only access would be Aurora and F-Droid. There are the third-party Google app stores out there online. Some of them are available as apps too. You just gotta be very careful with some of these places, not as trustworthy. And with respects to a fully functioning Android device, I can tell you, as someone that's been testing the beta firmware, I just installed the latest firmware drop from March 27th. But the change log is the same change log that I saw from the last time. So I have to find out what is different this time around. I can tell you that with the beta update, that I hope is finalized soon enough to roll out to the general public. It feels like a fully fleshed out operating system, especially with the new iconography, the new wallpaper, and all that. It feels like a whole new phone and a complete user experience. So, for those that were very early into this from a year ago to now, this is a very, very different experience. So for those of you that have been around long enough, it'll feel like a whole new phone. And for those of you that are just jumping into it, it would feel like the complete experience, except for the caveat that maybe your favorite apps aren't here because you want Google and or Apple, but Apple's Apple. But in the case of Google, you still need Google for Google stuff. So if you do really, really want that, and you have the technical know-how, the latest beta updates allow you to unlock the bootloader, and you have the technical know-how. You can bring another operating system onto the unplugged phone. So that's for the really techie people. You can do that. The bootloader is unlockable. I'm not messing with that right now. Maybe down the line I would be, because what would a Calyx OS look like on this? Because I think Calyx, you can install Micro G. Micro G is basically a forked version of the Google Play services that you can kind of sideload into that. But I don't want to brick the phone because there really isn't any way to, bring it back. So that's my long and short in responding to this. And when I get a moment after this thing goes up, I'm going to link this over to you, Susie, to tell you how I explain all of this. But yeah, hang in there. I don't know what's happened the past 2 months if you ditched the phone or not. I know it's a big learning curve for a lot of people to let go of the convenience of big tech. That's why I labeled the review convenience or privacy. It's your choice. Technically, as of right now, you can't have both. If you're concerned about privacy, you got to take on things on your own. If you want the convenience, you give up your privacy. And I hate that it's come down to that. Okay, but thank you for watching. Thank you for your question. I'll give you a heart and respond when the stream is posted, so you know that I responded to you. Bought the unplugged phone. Do this. CyberX speed. No headphone jack. Sadly, no. Okay, this is from the What is the Brax3 phone by Rob Braxman. I hope it has a great screen. I did heart that. This is from Andre-YM6EP. I certainly hope so too. It's being a $300 phone. I'm expecting something. Based on the specs that I've seen on paper, they almost sound pretty close to the Unplugs, but I don't remember if it's AMOLED. I don't think it's an AMOLED display. Might be an LCD panel. And if it is, it'll be interesting to see the differences because the color contrast and all that is very different from the industry wanting AMOLED. Because AMOLED, you get deeper blacks and you do get more. You can saturate colors. Anyway, some of them might look more vivid on AMOLED, but you also get that screen burn in. So that's why TFT and LCD still exist. So we'll see about that. But the size and everything, based on the specs, which why I hoped I would have the phone here, is pretty similar to what I've seen on paper to the Unplugged phone. So when I do get it, yes, I will compare it to the Unplugged phone because I know everybody's been asking me to do that. All right. Skygazer 7. Unplugged phone is a wonderful idea, but if I have to pay a fee for the apps, I'll never purchase one. Okay, so this is from the Unplugged Phone App Store experience and other app stores since from a month ago. I've responded to something like this before, so I don't know if I responded to you before, Skygazer. So let me reply like this because I'm sure people are wondering this too. There are fees for the apps. Yes, you get a 1 year free trial if you buy the phone. If you are buying just the services, because you can use the Unplugged suite of apps on your very phone right now, you don't have to get an Unplugged phone to use them. You would get a 14-day free trial and then pay for the services. The question then becomes, what happens if you stop paying? Well, I can tell you that the apps still work. They don't stop working. They're just limited in functionality. So like the VPN, for example, would cap you at a certain data instead of, let's say, unlimited. The Unplugged Messenger would have fewer features than the fully fleshed out ones. So they don't stop working. They're just limited in features versus unlocking all the bells and whistles. So a lot of companies do that, especially in the privacy space. There's another company that someone brought up here that I reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet, but they all do the same. They all do the same. And it's because, well, how else do you fund these things? They're not Android at that point. They're services by these companies, and it costs money to keep those things going. So unless you want to see ads, uh, that's why they charge a subscription fee. And if enough of you pay for it, then there won't be any ads. Otherwise, the whole project would just this will all fail. All right, this is from Aqua Blank Phone. Yes, the unplugged phone bandwidth is only working on T-Mobile, AT&T, and Patriot Mobile, which uses AT&T's network. AT&T has the broadest urban and countryside coverage in the United States, and the same bandwidth is used in South America, Europe, and parts of Asia. So I don't get why anyone would still insist on waiting to use Verizon. This was left on my Unplugged Phone Long-Term Review podcast edition. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. But here's the thing, Aqua Blank Phone, it was working on Verizon. It was working just fine. All my testing was done on Verizon until the big Android 14 drop happened. Then it stopped working on Verizon. So unless Verizon coordinated to wait for Android 14 to drop on the Unplugged phone, and conveniently the same day the update is pushed out, Verizon stopped working on it, I do believe there could be a software fix to get this working. Oh, and you left another message here on the same one. Aqua Blank Phone follows up. My only pet peeve with the Unplugged phone is that it's nearly the size of a brick phone from the 1980s or a small but thicker tablet. What the hell were they thinking? I want the phone the size of an iPhone 4 or BlackBerry slide phone I can easily store in my pocket so I don't have to carry it around in my hand or in my dork holster on my belt. I hope they come out with a smaller version soon. I'll give that one a heart. Uh, well, I can tell you, the biggest phone that I use and I was complaining about, even though I love the phone, the Samsung S24 Ultra. And I did do the comparison test for everybody to see the sizes of that thing because the S24 Ultra is a pretty damn big phone. Um, the Unplugged phone is not as wide, but it's definitely slightly taller than the S24 Ultra. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is enormous. The difference, though, was the convenience and the comfort in holding it in the palm of your hand. It's a lighter weight, and it doesn't dig into your palm because the rounded corners. So it didn't feel as big when I was carrying it around, which was something that I enjoyed. Not having to think about the size. I had the screen size that I wanted without the discomfort that I was carrying such a massive screen. That's one of the downsides when you get to the really premium phones, because the heavier they are, the harder they're going to hit the ground when they land. When they step off your hands. Um, I didn't have those issues with the Unplugged phone, and I always found myself reaching for it. Every time I would see it there on my desk, I would go for that. I'm like, wait, I don't have my SIM card in there. But it was just a joy to use. So I have to give credit to where credit's due. A lot of thought went into this, and if you haven't seen my videos on it, I've actually shown you what the Unplugged phone original designs were to what they ultimately launched at. Okay, because what they launched with was not what they were going for initially. So just giving you a heads up. The guys at Unplugged told me that they did design this despite someone bringing up the thing about, hey, is this an iPhone chassis? Like, no, it's not, but I'll get to that. All right, so this one's actually a response to my post on my copyright claims. This is from Hip Hop Sitcops. I wonder if I already read this one then. Because this sounds familiar. I might have mentioned it on the previous stream, so if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But it's just still a lot of comments that I haven't gone through. All right, sorry to hear that. How frustrating. I bought licensed music to stream on my channel, and damn near every song got a copyright claim. When sending disputes, many of them were rejected. Yeah, in my case, I actually won. So Hip Hop responds after I say, it's so bizarre. I had this theme song since 2019. Only 2 weeks ago that I started getting a copyright claim. This was like mid-February. The license doesn't show an expiration notice, so I don't know why it's suddenly an issue. And then the response from Hip Hop says, man, this is so annoying. It's the content ID algorithm from what I understand. I even sent a link with my license and many disputes were still rejected. Have you found any useful music in the audio library for creators? maybe have someone make a custom one for you with exclusive rights so it won't get flagged. So I actually did try to get exclusive music done for my show. Holy smokes, was that expensive? I'm like, wow. I think I'm just gonna pay for a license to use something existing, only to run into these issues. Uh, I haven't looked through the music library on YouTube because YouTube isn't the only place my show is on, and I don't know how that carries over to other shows. Okay, or other platforms. Like for example, Instagram, if you have like a reel and you're adding music to it that's available on the Instagram library, if you download the video so you can repurpose it and put it somewhere else, it strips the music from it. So usually you're just left with just the audio, like no audio. You just get the video. So I'm like, you know what? Then forget it. So I don't really put music on any of my Instagram videos. So just that you know about that. The BlackBerry Priv 1 year later. 5 hearts and a laughing emoji. Thank you. Oh man, how old is this? My goodness, huh? How many years ago did I do that BlackBerry Priv video? Man, that was the tech corner back in the day. 93,000 views, people. Thank you so very much. And that was 8 years ago. I want to revisit that because I have a terrible story to tell about it because I got scammed on eBay. And I knew I was going to be scammed. So I still went into it. Okay, this one, Will Smith, 2058. Do you know if the phone currently will work on Spectrum Mobile? I'm debating on giving it a go or whether I should wait for the unplugged phone too. Spectrum Mobile. I'm gonna respond to you here in real time. Uh Spectrum Mobile IMEI check. Find that your device is compatible. If you have a dual SIM device, you'll need to enter the primary IMEI. Okay, backed up. All right, so let me show what I'm looking at here. There's a bring your own device page, but I don't know if it's compatible. Let me see. Let me click on this. All right, it's loading this. Choose your manufacturer. It's none of these. Ensure your device is running the most up-to-date operating system software, then enter your device information to check its compatibility. Well, aside from Apple, everything else is Android. You know what? I'm going to pick Samsung because it has Samsung parts. Or should I use TCL? Let me use TCL. IMEI check. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that part. And I'm going to get the phone and try to do this live for you. So actually, I have the phone right here. And I'm pulling up the IMEI. Okay, I'm going to try this first one. See what it says. And I don't even know it's going to work because it's not the right brand. All right, so here's the thing. I don't know if this is even correct because it's not the right brand. So I'm gonna switch to brands and see what it tells me. Okay, so apparently I gotta do this again to open up the page. All right, I'm gonna pick, let me say Google. Okay. Oh, it's pre-filled. Good. Sorry, your device is not compatible. Uh-huh. I'm gonna try Samsung now. I tried Google. I tried TCL. I can't try LG. All right, so I keep getting this window that doesn't work. I mean, at this point, it's really just looking at the IMEI. I'm gonna assume that it doesn't, and I know people ask me about Xfinity. Uh, if it's Verizon, I'm gonna assume it doesn't. I believe it does not work on. No, I do not believe it does. Okay, so that's a response. All right, let's move on to. I just did a response to the individual. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I do have the phone here. Okay. So now this one is next one up from Benny CCP. CCP? Really? This has got to be a honeypot. Well, I've already addressed this as many different ways as I can, and in fact, I will pull up the that very question. I asked, "Is it a honeypot?" And you take that for what it is. Okay, so let me see. Man, that was how long ago? It's gonna be a year. I should bring Unplugged back on the show. What do you guys think? You guys got questions for them after a year? I'll ask Eric Prince again he'll come on to talk about Unplugged. We couldn't get our schedules to work. I think he'll be the best one to bring on the show because he hasn't been on yet. But I have to bring Eron back on. We've been talking, so might as well. I asked them that very question. Okay, sent the link to Benny CCP. This is from Kyle Norris S8Y. Y'all need to grab a Motorola Edge Plus 2023 and put IODE on the OS. It's $399 as of late. This was following up my long-term unplugged phone review, and it looks like Kyle Norris says you should get an unplugged phone, an above phone to check it out. Let me hit like on this. They should add multiple gestures to the unplugged phone, like the shake for the flashlight and twist for the camera. Yeah, that's right. Motorola had that. Dude, so those are all basically gyroscope and accelerator stuff, unless Motorola has like a patent for that, which I doubt. That's pretty cool. You know, HTC, they used to have this thing that I really liked where if your phone was flat, for example, let me make sure I can see myself on the frame. So the phone was flat and you picked it up and raised it and pressed the power button, it'll automatically launch the camera. So it had a gyroscope thingy. I really like that because it worked just about every single time. And then I would just pull it up and use the volume up or down for the flash. I mean the shutter. So man, I really miss HTC. That's why I still have my HTC One M8 in red. Okay, so I've been hearing a lot about phone, which is why I reached out to them. Maybe they don't really check their socials, so I'll reach out to them in private because this I received enough curiosity from a lot of you to warrant to look into this, and I gotta say, every now and then I check my junk mail. I don't know why I get this feeling that they reached out to me before. But it was junk mail, so I didn't get to see it. I'll only browse through my junk mail in case anything slips through the cracks. I remember seeing something maybe that said a buff phone. I could be wrong, but I am curious. But I'll reach out to them again, see what they say. As you can see, a lot of this is unplugged phone questions so far, but there's definitely some Brax3 questions here. So this is from TNE Adventures. From the long-term review. Very interesting. I don't hear much about Unplugged, and you mentioned an Unplugged phone 2. Is there actual news of an Unplugged phone 2 I'm not aware about? And I'm curious because I'm from Australia and I'll be buying this, but I'm not sure if it will even work with our networks. Well, I could tell you that they're working on global rollout for the Unplugged phone. There's a lot of red tape to cut through. They since they launched in Canada, I haven't heard them successfully launching the phone in Europe. The only way to go about it has been literally buying it from here carrying it over to Europe and get an active SIM card and put it in, because it's not officially for sale in Europe, but it's meant to work on those telecom networks, which could technically mean the same thing for Australia. So it should technically work in Australia, but it is not available for sale outside of North America. By the way, I don't know if you guys can hear that sound. I was in a real estate webinar, but I ended up walking out of it because, like, oh my goodness, it's just, I'll let it keep going, but it was very dry. So, like, I gotta stay awake. That's I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do the stream. Excuse me. Okay, so technically short work Australia, but it's not available for sale outside of America. UP phone 2 um is planned, but no official news. No official news yet. Okay, let me get that a heart. This is from Kev John 811. If this is would there be an unplugged phone too? If there will be, please make it 33% smaller. I give that a heart. This is from I'm your Huckleberry 476. Thank you for your extensive coverage of the security device. I am genuinely curious, though, with privacy concerns surrounding an AI, wouldn't Copilot go against what the device is intended for? Still learning about IT security. Appreciate any breakdown of this. Keep up the good work. Thank you. This is from my long-term review. Wait, this is turning out to be more of an unplugged stream, huh? But there's Brax stuff in here, so I'm going to get through. How long is this so far? How long have I been doing this? This is going to be a long one, isn't it? Okay, maybe I have to break it down. No, let's get to this. All right, let me answer it this way. Apple and Google devices with Google Play services have IDs on all of you, identifiers of all sorts. Okay. Unplugged phone doesn't. There's not even an advertiser ID. An advertiser ID is embedded into your software on your phone, your Google powered phone, all that, and they're collecting all your activity. Okay. That's what those apps, like those freemium apps and all that, when they're sending you targeted ads. So when you download those apps, they're looking for the advertiser ID so they know what kind of behavior you have. Behavior with other apps, behaviors in your communications, behaviors with how you use your media, behavior on your browsing. It's everything. So if you're one of those that are worried about like your computer and you have a webcam and you try to, block or put a sticky note on the webcam because you're concerned about being spied upon, you're carrying your phone everywhere you go. That's the most egregious invasion of privacy there is. And you're carrying it to the most private of places. You're not carrying your computer unless it's a laptop, but are you really carrying it everywhere you go? Your phone is everywhere you go. So with that, what controls are given to you when you take back your privacy, for example, is that you can cut off access to a lot of things. You can remove permissions on like Google and to some extent on Apple to certain things. You can't get rid of everything at all. It's still in there. It's still leaching some way, somehow. There are backdoors. Okay. So when you use an open sourced Android software where you're controlling a lot more of this, you can completely sandbox an app. That's where Graphene OS, for example, they're best known for having a sandbox Google Play. So if you're installing an app, it can live in that sandbox and doesn't interact with anything else you have around. The idea is like what BlackBerry used to have. BlackBerry used to have a portal for just your personal apps, and then you switch over to the portal for work apps. They don't interact with one another, but they live on your phone. So just giving you that example that those kind of things do exist where you can partition certain things. So the concept is pretty similar here with respect to Unplugged. Now, if I do install, like I have, the Copilot, for example, is it leeching off my data on the Unplugged phone? I would imagine that yes, it would, but only to the extent of what I allow it to do. Now, I could be very wrong about that because it's still in there. It's just that without an advertiser ID, and if I don't put an identifier on it, it has no way to ID me in that sense. And even if it's doing a facial recognition thing, as if I allow it access to my camera. And the I guess the beauty of this device is the power of the privacy sensor. So that's the main draw to this, the privacy sensor. Liberty Firewall Self Destruct. You can actually remap the privacy button now and get more features to it. So anyway, that's a side story. But it just keeps improving, and you can even do so much more with this privacy sensor. That's like the main draw to this device. If you really want to be private, and this is what I hope other OEMs like really take into consideration. I don't think they will, but it'd be nice if they do that. The reason they won't is because they make money off of you. And if you cut off their lifeline, then what's the point? So you are the batteries to their matrix. So that's my very lengthy response to all of this. And I will respond with this link to this stream to you so you know that I responded to you. All right, M. Worthies puts up here, this is a message for Heat, a deep dive retrospect. In January 2024, Man shared his goal of shooting Heat 2 for a 2025 release, which would mark the 30th anniversary of the first film. In July, this is Michael Mann, said his aim was to begin filming by the end of 2024 or the beginning of 2025. When asked about the casting of Butler and Driver, Mann stated, "I can't talk about that." In August, Mann explained that he was writing the screenplay for 7 days a week and that the film would at least match the scope of the original. Mann further updated that Heat 2 would be shot on location in Paraguay, Mexicali, Chicago, LA, and Batam. Okay, what is this person talking about? Heat 2. There's a novel by Michael Mann and, oh my goodness, what is her name? She's the one that did most of the writing. And I bought the novel. It took me a little bit, but I eventually got around to reading it, and I must say I gave it thumbs up. It was a really good novel. It really picks up like during the big shootout in downtown LA. But then it time travels a decade or about a decade in the past. So a lot of this is in like in the 80s, and I don't know. Some of the characters do mention these locations in the film, but there's a very big difference to what Heat is to what Heat 2 is. Heat was an original thing, and while you can say that Heat 2 is just building off it, you can't build off it when you're going backwards to give a prequel that no one asked for, and then also a sequel, because the main story of Heat 2, a lot of it takes place before the events of Heat, and then it ends as a sequel to Heat because other events happen after the fact. So Macaulay, oh my goodness, I don't want to spoil the movie. You haven't seen it. You have to see it. It's a perfect film. Heat 2, I have no interest in watching. That doesn't mean I wouldn't. It's just that Michael Mann, you wanted to develop the story. This is your brainchild. You have to execute this correctly. It's some of it's gonna come out contrived, and what always sucks about prequels is that you kind of have to put in the breadcrumbs. So this is how that thing happens later. It's like, I hate that. Just tell a freaking story. Not everything has to be involved, and it can then not have to build C-3PO. That kind of crap. We don't need that. You don't have to tie all this. I don't need to know how so-and-so got their name. Like, oh, that's how you got the name. Someone gave him Solo. Stupid. Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. But then again, the prequels are something else. But anyway, so that's my take on that. I read the novel. I enjoyed the novel. A bit contrived. But a good mystery, though. And they set up a good antagonist, which I like. But we're really following a younger Robert De Niro in this one. It's mostly about him. That's why I'm like, I don't know. That's going to look really... We know who Macaulay is. This is Robert freaking De Niro, and he can't play him. This isn't The Irishman. So I don't know. I can't really see this thing. No. Leave Heat alone. We finally get some Brax questions again. Brax, what do we got here? All right, this is from Mushroom Zulu. With how much the Brax3 costs, it makes me wonder how high the profit margins are for Samsung and Apple. How hard are we? Yeah. LOL. BAP3221 responds, consumers are dumb, honestly. That's why I stopped buying the phones because they are ridiculously overpriced. They started at 600 bucks and doubled in price and people keep buying. Until people stop buying, they won't stop raising the price. You can buy a laptop now with these outrageous prices. I'm giving that a heart because that is true. But here comes the other part. A lot of this extends to services. Okay. And some people don't want something built in China. Like, no, I'm gonna buy an Apple phone. It says designed in California. Yeah, built in China. But there's Apple stuff built into it. But a lot of these things are subsidized too. So if you're gonna go buy a phone outright, well, that's on you. There are still carrier deals that exist where they give you the phone for free. If you're paying for the service because you want the service, right? You want the phone and you want the service. What are you paying for? Um, but the phones have gotten way too expensive. I had hoped that we got some leveling off with the folding devices, but that's not improving. They're just getting more ridiculously expensive. That goes for you, Samsung. What the heck? So yeah, it's these phones don't cost that much to make. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these tariffs, though. Will Apple start building more over here? I mean, they can't do it with semiconductors, but will they build the rest of it out here? And will the prices stay the same? They're using non-union labor to build them. Be interesting to see. Unplugged phone long-term review. Yeah, I'm gonna have to label this like unplugged phone. But where are the Brax 3 questions, right? I know they're here. They're here. This is just gonna be a very long stream. JCN8R. Been using mine a year. It's great. It does what it's supposed to do, not track me. And I give it a heart. Tyranny Fight Pilot. Can you make calls? What network is it using? Verizon? I'll let Jay answer those questions because that means the guy's not using it on Verizon. A great video, my man. Thank you very much, JC. Okay, this is from John Kane S6G. Wait, how did you get WhatsApp on it? And do you always get lockout when you have to set up again and again new files to get it working? This is in response to my BlackBerry Porsche Design P9983 in 2022. It is 2025, and I am going to do a video on BlackBerry featuring my Porsche Design BlackBerry. So stay tuned for that. So I responded to this by saying the video is from 3 years ago. The app stopped working since. All right, next question is from NASA69T74. Once you get this phone and record a video, I will get the phone too. This is with the Brax 3 phone. I will give you some updates about that I have. El Garla 23. Indiegogo website is so riddled with cookies and spyware, my Brave browser couldn't load it. That's a red flag for me. Yeah, that's Indiegogo. It's not it's not Rob or anything like that. That's also on the Rob Braxman video. Back to Unplugged. The Scorpio Techno, thanks for the review. You are welcome. Hey, someone showing some love for my the CCP takeover of Hollywood with my guest NTD News, Tiffany Meyer, China in Focus. Go check her out over there and check out her documentary, The Hollywood Takeover. It's still relevant 1 year later, and some of you are upset that I don't follow the conclusions that you wanted me to get. But thank you. That was Wednesday Wheeled 564. This one's back to the Rob 3 for Rob Brax 3 phone. Okay, David Romero 2704. I'm looking into getting one of these types of phones. It's just dumb that our stuff is being sold to data brokers. Hey, freaking men. Your advertiser ID that's leeching off all your information is being kept by data brokers that are then selling it to other people. And then when data breaches happen, that's why they happen, because they don't want to pay for it. They breach the data, it floods the black market, and then they start spamming you with either partial passwords or full passwords that technically they have access to your stuff unless you have two-factor authentication. So that means they have to get your phone number and other stuff. So yeah, it's out there. That's why Delete Me exists, but can you really trust them too? Whatever happened to that LifeLock? I don't hear about them anymore. All right, next question up from JW288. A lot of government spy phones are small businesses like these too. Look up Amon phones, FBI Australia, not putting them down, just keep an open mind. I totally get it. Okay. It's okay to approach things with a healthy dose of skepticism. This one goes even beyond that because of where the company is headquartered, and people will make up their minds to each their own. All I can say is, if Eric Prince this had his reputation destroyed by the very government that hired him to do what he did, only to come back to help the government in taking your data, that would almost be like the very stupid explanation of the film version of Watchmen, that Dr. Manhattan, feeling guilty that he might have accidentally given cancer to those he loves and exiles himself to Mars, per the comic, um, would then choose to destroy the major developed cities of Western countries as retaliation. That's why the Watchmen movie ending is stupid. The comic book had the right ending, and if you guys don't get it, that's because you didn't understand the comedian, the driving force of the story in the first place. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. All right, this is for Minuscule R&R. This is for the walkthrough the Unplugged beta firmware program. Seriously, this is like an Unplugged thing. Have you heard of the above phone? See, there you go. The above phone. What are your thoughts of going that route with a Pixel and Graphene OS versus the Unplugged phone? So I responded 13 days ago. I reached out to them to learn more. And seeing that there's quite a few of you that are aware of this thing, I have to reach out. So now back to Brax3. See, okay, let's level this thing out. This from American Movement. I did not listen to your whole video, but the launch date is set to be around March 25th, 2025. I have the Brax2 phone, and I do not use it much currently, but it works fine. Someone else responded to that from Rachel Wilshire. What is your phone provider for Brax2 phone? Did you take it to the phone provider, or is it ready to use upon delivery? American Movement then responds, I have AT&T. I use a different type of phone service, so I just put in the SIM card. I believe with all of them, you have to put in the SIM that has a two-card slot also, so you can have two different phone providers, but Verizon is troublesome. Yeah, I know Verizon's not going to work for a fact on Brax3. Even Rob said it himself. And then I did respond 2 weeks ago to American Movement. I said, unfortunately, the OS is not done, so it's been delayed a few days. Okay, and this is for the Unplugged phone long-term review follow-up from Minuscule RR. Have you tried desktop on the Unplugged phone? That is something I'm intending to try. I did activate the desktop mode here, but I needed to get a dock in which it will work with an HDMI cable, because for some reason it wasn't responding to the cables that I do have, so it wasn't being read as like a desktop thing. But I did activate it on the developer options, and I will report back as soon as I know. Okay, Cole Rossman on my long-term review for the Unplugged phone. Hey, do you know how I can get my YouTube Premium benefits on my Unplugged phone? I did respond to that. I said non-Google Android devices cannot run paid premium apps that require Google Play Services framework. You can use YouTube on the browser. There is a browser wrapper in the Unplugged phone store that can be installed. This is from my clip where Art Mullen's best line featuring Justified actor Nick Searcy. So I had Nick Searcy on my show last June, I believe, in 2024. That was fun. I even told him, I'm surprised I didn't call you Art Mullen throughout this whole thing. He wrote a book called Justified, about his life in Korea and all that. So it was a great conversation. That actually came up again today because someone was sharing about what a fantastic read his book was. So Nick Searcy reposted that, hey, another patriotic read my book come thing, and I wrote like, yeah, this is a great read by a great American. And Chuck Garage 7165 says, we need the best of art and a best of Tim Gutterson. That's that's so bad. Yeah, yeah. And I gave a heart to that. So for Justified fans, you would know what that means. So uh in the clip, oh yeah, I gotta respond. Uh watch my full interview. Ditto. Watch my full interview with him to learn why the network won't have him back. FX Network. All right. This is Unplugged phone long-term review. Okay. Amy Chell A. Michaels, 7853. No bueno. I'm an experienced and tech-savvy Android user. This company has a great concept, but the management and ownership is highly dishonest and selfish in bringing this product to a market long, long before it is ready. It is simply not practical or functional in terms of its capabilities and how the OS works. I guess I shouldn't be surprised given the truth of what Blackwater is and was. 9/11 reptiles. Stay away. You went there? And if you really think that's what Blackwater was, I gotta ask, are you the same type that says don't believe the media? Because you believe in the media, you believe that about Blackwater. Okay. This is the Unplugged phone self-destruct feature demo. Any update on whether Unplugged is not working with Verizon? That's still no luck. This is from Hendo Goody. And now for the long-term review again, this is from 72C Wasn't one of the features of this phone future-proofing so that you can input new chip firmware, etc., to keep the phone running stronger than the eventual downregulation that happens with all major market offerings? It aggravates me that my phone always starts lagging after the first 2 years of service. Like, that's, I respond to this. I'm like, that's actually the first I hear of this. I don't know their position on right to repair, but I'll ask. And I can tell you, this phone is not a right to repair phone. So, I never heard of any claim like that made about this phone. Okay, so Big Dog Crop, also the same video, says I use a Graphene OS phone. It has Google on the phone without super user access. Google can't phone home without your permission. Runs a Google Pixel phone. Yeah, you could do that. A lot of people have done it. I've done it. Okay. Chansey S388. This is from the Brax. Responding to Brax Technologies response on my Brax3 video. Okay, I was just about to order when I saw that apparently ordering doesn't guarantee that you will get it. I can't waste my money like that. And then someone responded to that called Mungux1. Indiegogo says that for all projects, usually the funding is for future projects. The Brax3 is scheduled to be produced this month and estimated to ship in April. I still wouldn't buy one till it's proven to work as advertised. The other day, Rob asked for 20 people to be testers. There is no guarantee when it will ship if the testers have problems. And that is an excellent answer that I will elaborate on after I finish reading these comments, because this is already turning to a very long stream. So then Chansey responds to another, makes another post. So when exactly would I get the phone if I invest in it? I think you meant invest in it. The hardware is complete, I wrote. The OS is being finalized. Shipment is not expected for April. The news is as of 2 days ago on Rob Braxman's Rumble channel. So a lot of you on YouTube are missing the updates because Rob is only live streaming over on Rumble. That's been the very problem that I've been talking about at the onset of this stream, because YouTube just sucks for live streaming, and and for channels that might have some controversial content, they would treat all content the same. So it sucks because even he, with all those followers, doesn't get the views. It's crazy. So that's why he's been exclusively streaming over on Rumble. So a lot of the updates you're missing out on are over on Rumble. And I'm bringing you what I can to YouTube here. Okay, so the next one up is for the what is the Brax3 phone by Rob Braxman. M Lovemo writes, will Mint Mobile work on the Brax3? And I responded, according to their listing site, yes. And this is where I announced on my community post, happy to report that I won my initial copy dispute. Today I submitted disputes for all the other ones, and Record Desk's response, stay prepared, plan for the long haul, perseverance. Thank you very much. I give that a heart. This is from Joss6216. Great review, Andres. I need to replace a phone or two and want to switch to Unplugged, but not wanting to change service provider. We are on Xfinity. They use the same tower systems as Verizon. Wondering if it will work for me. And I responded, I heard mixed results on this. I would assume it might not work properly. This was left in my Unplugged long-term review. Yeah, I probably would err on the side of caution and say that it doesn't work on Xfinity. This is from responding to the to Brax technology response to my Brax3 video. This is for Marty Kong 3592. Thanks so much for sharing. I was interested in the Brax3 until I saw Indiegogo. I had previous bad experience with it over a year. Wait for the FX Pro one and the disaster of a phone. Not as claimed and no OS choices as stated. I wish Rob all the success and hope the phone works well. Still many of us looking for an affordable private option for sure. All the best and cheers. Heart. Okay, this is Unplugged Phone Long-Term Review podcast version. Any update on it working on Verizon? Still no update on the latest beta firmware. I know a lot of you are asking that, and Verizon is just the worst place to use unlocked phones in, unfortunately. But it's also the strongest network in the country for a reason. Right, this is from my is Unplugged the Honeypot. 9K VTech. Why is this phone capped at 256 gigabytes of storage? And I responded, its built-in storage is 256 gigabytes, which is expandable to 512 gigabytes via micro SD. And I can tell you, the original plans were to also have another model of 512 gigabytes of built-in storage. And I am glad they didn't go that route to make two offerings, because then they would have to manufacture both. But without the out the gate, it's smart to just offer one model. You already have the expandable storage anyway. But for the future, built-in storage is better. All right, re-up my YouTube copy dispute, channel throttling, and others. This is from FMH357. You are not the first to talk about how YouTube is broken. The problem seems to be, as long as they make money, they just don't care. Thank you for the support there. This is from my long-term review of Unplugged. Daniel K1EFer had to pause the video at 4:59 to say, Google Assistant anything, Microsoft or Amazon spies on you. The phone was developed for that not to happen, because the moment you say yes to them, the tracker is always going to be on that phone unless you reset it. I even heard that it doesn't work even if you do that. So does that make sense? So does that make sense there? Like, not, nah, don't download that. I'm trying to go, what am I going to say? Like, totally get it. And just like someone asked me about the Microsoft Copilot thing. So you can get the full Microsoft experience. You can turn your Google device into a Microsoft experience phone. From the launcher to the Office to the Copilot, all of it. You can do that. There was once a time that you can buy a Samsung. It was called the Signature Experience, and they were for sale at the Microsoft store. I know because I saw them there in person. So instead of Google out of the box, it was Microsoft out of the box. It lasted for a short while. I think that's because there might have been some terms and conditions that were violated there, because you have to have the Google apps when you have access to the license for the Play Store. But I saw those, and I was at the Microsoft store. I was like, this Samsung device comes preloaded with Microsoft Edge? What is this? A very, very interesting experience. But you can do that. So then the question becomes, because Microsoft has been very invasive as of late, especially with the Copilot, and their Copilot PCs been some of the worst when it comes to that, including Windows Recall. What about then our phones? Err on the side of caution. All I gotta say. But again, Unplugged phone gives you the privacy center, and that just gives you it'll give you some peace of mind. But what if they're not reporting? Let's hope that there's some logs that can tell you that. Okay. That's me posting to my own thing. This is from what is in the Unplugged phone app store. Is there an alternative for Android Auto? Yes, it's called AutoZen. And I think this person called Landon Walden 7 Walden 7564 responding, how do you download and install AutoZen? And I did a response that says, through the Aurora Store, third-party app store steps. Unplugged Store, Aurora Store, AutoZen. So that's what I use as like the Android Auto for a Google device. Okay. Oh, I think I'll show you right here real quick. I had it right here. Oh no, that's right. I wiped the phone. I could download it right now. All right, let me do this. We're doing this together. I can't believe I'm keeping it together this whole time. Auto Zen. Uh, yeah, sorry, yo. I won't be able to do it because I had wiped the phone, so I gotta reinstall some applications to do it. Okay. Hopefully we're reaching the end here. Wow, this was a conversation from Dan Carlin 5434. Question: Since the unplugged phone appears to be based on an iPhone chassis, are there any standard iPhone cases that fit it? This is from my unplugged long-term review, and I say it doesn't share any dimensions with any existing iPhone. There are cases available on unplugged.com. Um, Dan Carlin responds: Unfortunate as I use requirements that Unfortunate as I have use requirements that require specific case types. I put IC, and I put this is the list of currently available products for the unplugged phone for reference. And then Dead Carlin response: This is a third-party proprietary case designed for use for proprietary motorcycle mounting system. Manufacturer is Quadlock. If you are curious, the customer support department says they will need more than a user request for a case to be put into production, which is reasonable. Only one that could expedite would be Unplugged themselves. You know what? I'm going to heart that and I'll mention that. That's a good point. Very good point. All right, this is the end of it. So this is to the M Love Mo. I made the announcement that this goes to the updates. So let me open this one up. I'll open the post. Oops. Okay. I said I am bummed I was not selected to beta test. So let me pull up the post here. Okay. Share this tab instead, and I'll read the comment. So I posted 4 days ago as of this stream. While I am bummed I was not selected to beta test the Brax3 phone, I continue to beta test Parlor apps, Pickaxe Social's website, and of course the Unplugged phone. New firmware update dropped on March 27th, but duplicate changelog. I'll find out the fixes and features and report back. So there it is. And in the comments that were here from M Love Mo, I bought a Brax3. When is it being released? I haven't gotten it yet. No updates about ETA from Brax3 at all. What's going on? And I responded, the phone hardware is complete. IOLDE OS is not. And I assume Ubuntu Touch is further out. They are currently shipping about 50 devices to help test out the software. I applied but was not accepted. The Brax team are hopeful they can get the early batches out this month once software kinks, this is links, supposed to be kinks, are ironed out. So that was the last one on that. Now let me share this from the project timeline that was updated March 19, 2025 on the Indiegogo website for the Brax3 device. So they are over here, the IOLDE development, and it's March 2025. The Brax3 beta testing, they moved it to April because they just selected, and they're hoping to start shipping the first batch of perks this month as well, and then by May the second batch. So as you can see, they had to do this because they hit the delays, and according to Rob himself, what happened was they did a video about this. They have the hardware complete. What they don't have complete is the OS, because IOLDE hasn't built one for a device like this before. They just build the OS, and they're trying to make it work with this one. It has not been working. So there have been some serious bugs that affect the functionality of the phone that they had to delay everything. So it's on IOLDE's part, and that I imagine this is pushing out Ubuntu Touch, and I wouldn't be surprised if they even drop that whole project altogether to get Ubuntu Touch working on it. I say that just because of the complexities that they ran into trying to get an Android-based software to work on it. So that means they need a devoted Linux team to do it. So Lunatech, Clement over there, they did offer me the phone initially, and I had said yes. That's why I was bummed that they didn't accept me into the beta program. I was like, well, you guys offered it. So that's a bummer. But the invitation remains open for Clement and or Rob or both. You guys can be on the show to answer questions when the time comes. When I get the phone, because I did pay for it, I'm gonna hold everyone accountable, okay? But I also understand that these things happen, and it didn't surprise me. That's kind of what I said what I assumed would occur, and it's occurring, and people that don't have experience with this are the ones that are most frustrated with this. Uh, yeah, and I totally get it because you have to shell out money. Like right now, I love that Pebble is back, and I want to do a stream devoted to Pebble. It's like all these wearables, including the Pixel Watch, because I still have my Pebbles, but I cannot back a watch that may or may not ship by Christmas. And that was as of last month. They're like, maybe we'll get it out for your Christmas. So I'll have it next year. You're asking for a lot of money up front. So that's why I didn't pull the trigger on it. But with this, um, it's it's ambitious. Okay, it's ambitious. I think because they got the hardware in, which is a good thing, then they can avoid the tariffs, which is why they were saying that the tariffs would not affect them because they got the product. What they don't have is an operating system that works without problems. And if IOTA is taking this long, I can only imagine Ubuntu Touch is going to be something that's going to be like move way back down in the list of things that they got to get working on this. So I think that's all I have to say about this, folks. Actually, you know what? There is one more thing, and do this as a favor to all of you on X, because I that was my biggest clip of the year. So let me try to do this later. So let me share this tab. I was demonstrating the unplugged phone self-destruct feature on X. Eric Prince shared it, so that I helped signal boost this. I got nearly 64,000 views on this. Other people are sharing it too. And then I put the long-term review. Let me see if I have any comments from people. Then following up. Hi, handsome. How are you doing? So that's the only comment I got, huh? All right. Thank you. So that's what I mean. It's really complicated over on X. Freaking bots. But thank you. Unspoken for. So that's a convenient, weird place to leave it. This was a lot longer than I expected. I got through it. A lot of cutting into the stream because I didn't hit the mute mic on time as much. But I wanted to get this out for you guys all. I guess just to end it off, besides checking out dmo9s.com, use promo code Segovia to save 10% off on your order if you like what you see. And this knife, I don't see it on the listing anymore. There's a past drop. It was very limited edition, very limited. And I'm glad I got it. That's why I'm afraid to use it. So that means I got to get a new one. So I'll see what I get. But let me know what you guys think, because Rumble's the place of live streaming, and I want to live stream from there a lot more of my main show, because the main show, sometimes the discussions can get a little heated, and that's the stuff that gets me in trouble, not the tech talk. The tech talk is what excels. So if I am going to be doing a lot more live streaming, the live streamings that I wanted to do, it's going to be more on the lines of I do a show based on business, and then another show based on tech. And of course, there's the interview ones that I'll air somewhere in between, or during the Monday show, something like that. But there's also evening ones that I wanted to do where it'll be like workouts with me kind of thing. But I was hoping to do that more for my locals community. That's locals.com. Find the Interesting Show community. My stuff there. I do a lot of evening musings and things, exclusive shows that are only available there, and it's free. It's like Patreon, but stuff that I control without the censorship. But I like the idea of doing live reviews. So like the Remarkable 3, for example, the Remarkable Paper Pro. That one is something that I will live review. I like the idea of doing it and answering the questions while I'm doing it. But so I will announce those streams with anticipation. So hopefully it gives you guys enough time to jump into the discussion. The thing is timing. I'll probably do it like around 11 a.m. to or noon on Pacific time. That's what I'm working with for the main tech ones, and that the tech ones I'm planning on just blasting it everywhere. The business ones, I will probably not be streaming it to YouTube. I will only be uploading the audio versions to YouTube. So in other words, the podcast versions, because those will go to Spotify and everything else. So that's something that I've been working in my mind. When I come back after I'm over this illness, then I'll know for sure. But I gotta line up my guests. Some of them will either be live interviews or they'll be pre-recorded interviews that I'll air when I go live. But for sure, anytime that a video is premiered, I will be live in the chats. That's what I'm planning with. I would love to hear what you guys think. That's where I'll leave it. Thank you so very much for watching this stream of the Andre Segovia show. Remember to follow me across the socials at the Andre Segovia, at underscore Andre Segovia on X, and everything about anything about me is over at theandresegovia.com. And I'll see you in the next one.